Ubisoft is changing, a topic we already discussed here on the channel before, but now we got some concrete info as to what is going on behind the scenes, thanks to a report from Video Game Chronicle. And they also indicate that a Splinter Cell creative director is now back at Ubisoft. So what does it mean? I also want to share why I think we will very likely get an update on their upcoming games very soon, maybe already an Assassin Creed tease or a release date for Watch Dogs Legion. So let's get into it. A like on the video would be really appreciated, and let's go. First up, a quick reminder that there is still time to enter my giveaway for a 2020 game of your choice on your platform of choice. All you need to do is follow the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win. Be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter, and good luck. I will announce the winner on February 1st. And yes, you can choose one of the many delayed Ubisoft games like Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine and Watch Dogs Legion. All delayed following the disappointing sales of The Division 2, but especially Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And this also means major changes behind the scenes. A big Ubisoft Montreal new IP from the Watch Dogs 2 team has been cancelled. A game Video Game Chronicle said has been very far in development, so was likely a 2020 or 2021 game. We already discussed in a previous video that Louis de Garouvel, and I hope I pronounced that right, noted in a now deleted tweet that every single one of the 200 plus people in that team will be reassigned to an existing project at Ubisoft Montreal. There are over 15 of them. We even get to choose which one we prefer. So that is great that Ubisoft is not laying these people off, but it's of course still a major hit, like millions of dollars, and almost 3 years of development time is down the drain. And hopefully we get to see that cancelled project one day, or hopefully they can reuse the assets for other projects. Jason Schreier from Kotaku, who of course has his sources, says that he heard that it was Destiny-like, and maybe that's also why they cancelled it. Because Ubisoft wants their titles to be different enough from each other, and they already have an MMO with The Division, and you can count Breakpoint now too. A Ubisoft game is a legit thing, you can say, and then people will know what you mean. An open world, checklist, bandit camps, convoys, and since last year it also meant that the game would have some sort of RPG elements to increase the amount of playtime per person. Because the more people play one game and spend time in the world, the more they are likely willing to spend on microtransactions. And these ideas all seem to come from the editorial team at Ubisoft, a group of around 100 designers and producers who advise on everything from game design to script writing, so they have a huge impact on all the games that Ubisoft releases. But that also means that ideas that worked in one game are going to the next one. And this can have positive effects. Something that I really liked from Breakpoint is that it had the Assassin's Creed Odyssey style visual customization system, meaning that if you found an item in the world, you immediately unlocked it as a visual option. So then you can show it over every other gear piece that you find later, and it has better stats. I by the way asked Bruno, the live content director on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a while back if we can expect such a feature at the launch of the next Assassin's Creed, and he could not say yet. Would be a shame because it made Odyssey so much better, but after seeing that Breakpoint had it at launch, I totally have hope. But yeah, this whole sharing features across games also has negative effects, like the gear system from Odyssey, where every chest shares the same loot pool and skills to your current level, did not need to be in Ghost Recon. I also hope that we don't see this in the next Assassin's Creed, because with this system the reward for every activity is the same. Like, it doesn't matter if you open chests in a fort or find chests in the sea, the loot is similar and random. Like, could be that you get great stuff from looting everything in the fort, while I get nothing in that fort but found an awesome maze after diving and searching a sunken ship, while you only got crap there. The legendary chest that we saw in Odyssey that always had one specific legendary item in them, like the Maze of Jason or the awesome Pilgrim set, I want more of that. That really rewards exploration, because then you don't want to skip a bandit camp, because there is a chance that there is an awesome powerful weapon there. Either way, in Ghost Recon, this random loot system from Odyssey never really made sense. The Ghost Recon series is not an action RPG, while Ubisoft turned it into that. because that would increase the playtime like it did in their other games. But yeah, they now learned the hard way that the same things don't work on every game, so that's why they are changing their editorial team's approach. Instead of one big team with one leader that makes the choices for all the games, they will now have 7 vice presidents, each assigned their own franchise to lead, with the authority to make their own independent decisions on future directions. And this is great news and should avoid Ghost Recon Breakpoint situations, on paper at least. Meaning that instead of looking at the things that worked in other Ubisoft games, they will look at what worked and make sense for the franchise instead. So maybe a smaller open world with more meaningful areas to infiltrate and a bigger focus on stealth instead of killing drones that are equivalent to bullet sponges from RPGs. So vice president for 7 franchises, Rainbow Six is likely one of them, although I'm not sure if that really got impacted like the open world Ubisoft games. Like, that game seems to be doing its own thing and that is working out really well, and maybe Ubisoft also looked at that and thought, hey, let's do a similar approach for every game. Ghost Recon likely has a vice president as well, Far Cry for sure, Watch Dogs makes sense, Beyond Good and Evil 2 I think as well, and that game can really benefit from this new structure because it could totally be harmed if it got too much stuff from other Ubisoft games, while the original was really its own thing. So then we got 2 left. Assassin's Creed, of course, makes a ton of sense. I think Just Dance already kinda was their own thing. For Honor could have a vice president, maybe Skull and Bones, that is by the way now delayed to after April 2021, or maybe they have a vice president for Splinter Cell. And Max Ballon is now back after leaving Ubisoft in 2019 for Epic Games, so after less than a year he returned. He was creative director on Splinter Cell Conviction and Blacklist, but it is good to note that he was also one of the creative directors on Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5 and Far Cry Primal. Like, he was responsible for the parts that were developed at Ubisoft Toronto. And that's of course Ubisoft's pretty impressive approach for every game that they do. They have different studios across the world that make different parts of a game. And I've showed you this Origins map before that was released during GDC. Sofia made the awesome Serene part, while Ubisoft Bucharest worked on the arenas, one of my favorite part of Origins. I recently, by the way, replayed one of the bosses like the 2 brothers on stream. Twitch.tv/JorRaptor, check me out if you haven't already. And man, what an awesome fight that is on Nightmare, also because you only have one regular sword and not a lot of abilities. In Odyssey I kinda missed that challenging content where it was really about your raw skill, and these bosses in the arena all had personalities, their own moveset. I really love them. But yeah, I don't think that Max Ballon going back to Ubisoft means that they are working on the next Splinter Cell. I think the highest chance is that he is likely the vice president of the Far Cry franchise. Jason Schreier from Kotaku made it very clear many times, and Ubisoft themselves said it too, that they are not working on Splinter Cell right now because they don't have a good idea for it. And let's not forget that the 2 recent games did not sell very well. It will be interesting to see how these changes impact the upcoming Ubisoft lineup. Sure, they delayed 3 games, but I don't think you can incorporate many changes in an extra year of development. Ubisoft also still has 2 big unannounced AAA games that they want to launch before April 2021, likely a new Assassin's Creed and a new Far Cry. I also don't think that those games are impacted a lot unless they delay them, but I don't really see that happen. And no, Ubisoft really needs to go all in this upcoming fiscal year. I think that we will notice these internal changes like at the earliest in 2021. So with games like Skull and Bones, Beyond Good and Evil 2, maybe that Avatar game that Ubisoft is still making at the Division studio. But yeah, let's go back to those upcoming 5 AAA games that they again plan to release between July 2020 and April 2021. Because I think we will get an update on these titles very soon. On February 6th, they will namely have a new financial meeting and share how they did between October and December, so the holiday period of 2019. And during that meeting, they will also go more in depth on what they have planned for the future. The thing is though that they did very poorly in Q4 2019. Ghost Recon had to be their big fall game, but in November it was number 18 in the NPD best-selling games of 2019 list, and in December it was not even on that list. So it sold very poorly, no surprise there, but no other Ubisoft game was even on those lists. So they're going to post really bad numbers. Like sure, Rainbow Six had a great quarter and Just Dance might have done better than expected, but they will not outweigh the rest. And the best way to counter this is by announcing positive news, so there's something else to focus on. One thing would be saying, hey, we got a new Assassin's Creed coming at the end of 2020. Like, that would be an amazing announcement, because then the investors know, hey, at the end of 2020, we're gonna make a ton of money. Like, all they said right now is that they have the 3 delayed games and 2 unannounced games from 2 of their biggest franchises. And we always had rumors that a new AC might be revealed in February. Maybe at a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X reveal event, and now it would make even more sense to let investors know that this behemoth of a game is launching before the end of the year. And another thing they could announce, or kinda have to announce in my opinion, are launch windows for those delayed games. And maybe share a trailer and an update before February 6th. Although a new Assassin's Creed will likely have the biggest impact, even if they already teased it, that yes, it's going to be an Assassin's Creed, look forward to more info coming soon, something like that. That would already be huge. And it just makes a lot of sense, especially with community members already visiting Ubisoft Montreal, likely to see the new Assassin's Creed game, and the Odyssey support is now completely over. It's been a long time since we had any Assassin's Creed related stuff. They have in February the Assassin's Creed Gold, sort of audiobook. There is Assassin's Creed stuff happening, so at least announcing a new game that we all know is coming would make a lot of sense as well. When we know more, I will of course let you know here on the channel, and expect a new Watch Dogs Legion video too, talking about what is going on with that game and why I think that new info for that game is imminent as well. So totally subscribe for everything on the big upcoming Ubisoft games if you haven't already. Like this video to support the channel, and totally check out my recent video on why the delay of Cyberpunk 2077 will have a major impact on the rest of the gaming industry, including Ubisoft. Like, the release date for Watch Dogs Legion is pretty clear after the September delay from Cyberpunk. Check out that video by clicking on the screen. Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. And for now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.